All right, everybody. Welcome to the NBC Game of the Week. This game was played May 26, 1979 at Dodger Stadium between the Dodgers and the Reds. On the mound for Los Angeles will be Don Sutton, and on the mound for the Reds will be left-hander Fred Norman. Good morning, Ben. I did get your email. Very interesting about all those walks and getting shutouts with those walks. That was kind of interesting. Enjoyed reading about that. So let's get this game going here. Always kind of a reset when I'm doing the NBC Game of the Week because I don't play Fall Classic all week long. I'm playing Strat-O-Matic pretty much exclusively. So got to get back in the mindset of Fall Classic. I do have the game on my score sheet here ready to go. So I will be scoring that to the side. I do not have the Action PC game up at all. I don't want that to be a distraction to me. So I'm going to do it strictly old school with the pad paper and the score sheet. Of course, we are at Dodger Stadium. And if we look at Dodger Stadium, particularly the foul territory, 5-9 for foul ball, 10-16 it's going to be caught. So I thought Dodger Stadium had more foul territory than that. I thought it'd be more foul outs and more foul balls and less foul outs, but that's just the way it went. All right. So first things first, we are going to roll for the bullpen sessions for both pitchers. We'll start with the home pitcher, and like everything else, always forget little details. So I do need to get my little markers so that I can signify what grade each pitcher is on. Got an orange one here for Sutton and a red one, since they're the Reds, for Cincinnati. All right, we're going to start out with Don Sutton, see what his bullpen session says. It's a 1. So Sutton's on his A grades. Don Sutton on the A grades. Check out Fred Norman. He's also on his 8. Boy, the 1 twice. What kind of double die is this? 2 rolls and I get 1 each time. And I'm not too sure about that, but that's just what it is. So both pitchers are on their A grades. I do have the team defensive sheets handy when needed. Got the defense chart and the 54 chart handy when needed. And then the other results out and base running charts are in my binder right here, and I'll just flip those as they come along and read those off to you. So we're underway. Ken Griffey will lead off for the Cincinnati Reds against Don Sutton, and we're underway. That's a 43, and a 43 on Don Sutton's A grades is an out. That's a 3. I know it's kind of hard to see it, but that is a 3 there. It's not an 8. It's a 3. It's a 3 because the 8's over here. So it is a 3. And with a left-handed batter, he will ground it to first unassisted. So Steve Garvey will make the play. 1 down. And that will take us to Hello Kenyon. That will take us to Dave Concepcion, shortstop. 55 for Concepcion. It's a 1-6 double. Anything else will be a single. So that will be a single for Mr. Concepcion. He gets on with a leadoff single. Concepcion, I am using auto steal, so if they don't get the plus sign, I'm not stealing. So I'm just going to strictly go by the auto steal function. And that brings up little Joe Morgan. And of course, I dropped my D20. So I got to fish for that. It's in here somewhere. Yes, I think it is. There it is. Found it, finally. All right, and now we move our charts to runner on first. And Joe Morgan, the batter. We get a 65, and Joe Morgan has a -1 on his home run thing here. Sutton's home run is 1 to 10. He would give up the long ball once in a while. -1 makes that a 9. That is a, I know it's hard to see it on here, but that is actually a 19. There is a little 1 there, I think. I might need a new D20 because that is a 19 because we got the 9 right here. So this was a 19. I know it looks like a 9. I'm going to get the other blue D20, or maybe I'll just go with a white D20 because I was trying to go with Dodger colors, but my blue D20 is kind of phasing out there. So it was a 19. So it will not be a home run. And now we're going to see. Now we're going to see what kind of out it was because we already used the D20 to determine it wasn't a home run. So we need to re-roll it to see what kind of out it is. It is a 4, and that's going to be, let's see, a ground out to second. It will be a double play unless the second baseman has a weak arm. So Davey Lopes actually does. Davey Lopes actually does have a W there for a weak arm at second base. So it will not be a double play. It will be a fielder's choice instead. 4 to 6. Morgan will reach on the fielder's choice. 2 away, and that'll bring up Danny Dreesen. Hello, Brian B. .42, and that's going to be an out, and that's an 18, so that is a fly to center, and that will end the inning. So nothing doing for Cincinnati in the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Reds nothing, and the Dodgers coming to bat. And like I said, ironically, both pitchers are on their A grades for this one. So Fred Norman is taking the mound. He'll face Davey Lopes. Hello, Triple G. So here we go, Lopes. Whoa, a 66 for Lopes, and that's gone right off the bat. Davey Lopes, a home run on a 1 to 17, and that's a 5. So Davey Lopes, who hit 28 home runs, I didn't think of him as a home run hitter, but in 1979, he hit 28 home runs. So Davey Lopes goes yard to start the bottom of the first off of Fred Norman, and the Dodgers lead it 1-0. That didn't take long. Fred Norman hadn't even got warmed up all the way yet. All right, here's Bill Russell. 44. These doubles are killing Fred Norman. That's a single for Russell, and there is a plus sign, so he has to steal. He has to go. And his stolen base is only an 8. So this is where the Fall Classic makes you steal with inferior base stealers if you play by their rules. With the plus sign there on the 44, you have to go. His stolen base rate or rating is only an 8. And it looks like on here he stole 6 bases but was caught 9 times, 6 out of 15, not a very good percentage. So it's a 1 to 8 plus Johnny Bench's arm is going to come into play. He is, I guess, at this point in his career, just has an average arm. So it won't change anything. It'll be the 1 to 8 total. So 1 to 8, we get a stolen base. And he's out of there. So Johnny Bench throws out Bill Russell for out number 1. And like I said, normally I would not have stolen with Bill Russell if I was doing manual steals. But that's the thing about this game is it forces you to steal with inferior base stealers. You're never going to get the caught stealings if you don't try it. So, all right, here's bases clear now. And here is Reggie Smith. 23 for Reggie Smith, struck him out. That is out number 2. First strikeout for Norman. And that brings up Steve Garvey. Hello, Kenyon. It comes up once in a while, mostly on these right up in here. I've had guys pitch good games on C's. I've had guys get blown out on A's, so it's not automatic by any means. But I'd rather have, if I'm a pitcher, I'd rather be an A grade than a C grade. That's for sure. Hello, RJL. All right, here is Steve Garvey, Mr. Clean. 41, and that's going to be a walk. So 41s, no matter what your grade are, almost exclusively 41s are walks and 56 are strikeouts. On very rare occasions, that's not the case. But for most pitchers, that's going to be the case. So that'll be a 2-out walk to Reggie Smith, but there is no plus sign there. No pluses on the pitcher card. So there's going to be no steals when the batter reaches off the pitcher card. So Garvey's at first base, and here's the Penguin, Ron Say. That's a 52, so we're going for an error check. First time to do the error check on the defensive chart, unless the KD is within this, but the KD is only a 1-3, and that's a 12. So we're going to an error chance on the 52, and we get a 53. 53 says we're checking the third baseman, Ray Knight, for an error. Ray Knight's error rating. Look at Ray Knight at third base. His error rating is only a 5. That's a 15, so he will not make the error. And it's the third out of the inning, so it really doesn't matter about, we're just going to call it a 5-3 ground out because, like I said, it really doesn't matter. It's the third out of the inning. D20 was odd, so it would have been most likely been a double play had there been less than 2 outs. But since there were already 2 outs, it really is irrelevant, so to speak. So now we go to the top of the second. And for anybody that watches the watches the 1987 American League replay, in the last game with Kansas City and Seattle on Thursday, I somehow lost the George Brett card. Tabby got up here and did some shenanigans, and for some reason I went the rest of the game. I could not find the George Brett card. In fact, I had to bring in Steve Balboni to play first base for the rest of the game. And, of course, Steve Balboni, his first at bat, hits a home run. But I found George Brett. He was under this little black mat. You can't really see it on here, but there's a black mat. Actually, it's the History Maker Golf mat that's under this board here. And somehow George Brett had slid under the mat. So I do have George Brett. He was found. He was chastised for leaving the game early, but all is well now because George Brett has been found. So, all right, here is Johnny Bench. That's a 42, and that's going to be an out, and that's a 19, so a fly to right field. And Johnny Bench is out of there, 1 away. That will send up Ray Knight. 61, and that's going to be a strikeout for Sutton. His first strikeout of the game, 2 down, very quickly. For Dave Collins. Collins in left field in this one. For some reason, George Foster is not playing. Don't know why. He's on the roster. He's getting the day off, I guess. 54. So we're going to the 54 chart. 54. Nobody's on base. Nobody is on base. So we're going to the bases empty wild chart. That's a 17. And it says on 16 through 18, it says strike 3 if catcher rating G as he frames the pitch. Ball 4 if the catcher is a B, and the home gets a strikeout if he's an N. So this is where the home field advantage can come into play. So we'll look at Steve Yeager, who is the catcher in this. I'm sorry, Joe Ferguson, who's the catcher in this game. Ferguson is an N-rated catcher. So that means because he's at home, he frames the pitch, and it will be a called strike 3 on Collins. So that's the one of the few spots where the home field advantage comes into play. And Mr. Collins is rung up. So that's going to end the top of the second. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 Los Angeles on the Davy Lopes leadoff home run. The only run of the game. All right, here comes Dusty Baker. That's an 11 for Baker, and that's a base on balls. So Dusty Baker will draw the leadoff walk. Second walk issued by Norman. And that'll take us to Joe Ferguson, the catcher. 16. 16 is an out. That's a 4. So 4 is a ground ball to second. In the same situation we had in the first inning, it will be a double play unless the second baseman has a weak arm. I can't imagine that Joe Morgan would have a weak arm, but You never know sometimes. So we go to Morgan, and he actually does have a weak arm. Wow, that's amazing. They rate him as a weak arm. I'm not sure about that one, but we'll go with it. 4 to 6 fielder's choice. Even later in his career, I didn't think he had a weak arm, but apparently the data must say otherwise. I don't know, Brian B. It could just be a prejudice against the Reds. I don't know. All right, here is Daryl Thomas. It's a 46. That's the ballpark cards. First time going to Dodger Stadium. That's a 16, and 16 is a foul out. 16 will be a foul out. He is a switch hitter batting right-handed, so it's going to be a foul out to the first baseman. Dan Dreesen will make the play. 2 down. And that's going to send up the pitcher, Don Sutton. He was a 143 hitter in 1979. We get a 45, and a 45 is going to be an out. 3. And so with the batter is Sutton is right-handed, so it'll be a ground ball to third. Don't have to worry about a double play because that's just the end of the inning. So 5-3 ground out takes care of the Dodgers. And we go to the third inning with the score still Los Angeles 1 and Cincinnati nothing. Due up for the Reds, it'll be Geronimo, Norman, and then Griffey. Here's Cesar Geronimo, 46. We're back to the ballpark card again, and that's a 9, so that's just a foul ball. So that's going into the stands, and it's a 1-strike count on Geronimo. 16, and Geronimo's out. That's a fly ball to center field on the 8, and that's 1 away. For Fred Norman, Norman is a switch hitter, so he'll bat left-handed against Sutton. Norman hit 153 in the real season. 44, he's going to get a walk on a 1 to an 11, so that's a walk to Fred Norman, the pitcher. Well, you're not going to see that happen very often. Pitcher getting the walk. Norman did walk 6 times in 59 at bat, and 59 at bats plus the sacrifices and stuff. So 6 walks. So obviously they put a walk on there for a reason, and that he just found it. All right, here is Ken Griffey, top of the order. 14 for Griffey is an out, and 11 is a ground out to the white die, which is a 4. So it's ground out to second. Faster average runner advances to second, and Norman is slow, so that's not going to be the case. Slow runner out at second, and if the batter has a slow run rating also, he is out on a double play. Griffey does not have that, so it's going to be a fielder's choice, and it will go on the fielder's choice. It will go 4 to 6. So Griffey is now the lead runner at third, but now they're 2 away. And we'll bring up Davey Concepcion. 44 for Concepcion. That's a base hit. Run on first and a 12. Center field advances to third. So it's hit to center, and the run on first, Norman, even though he's slow, will go to third. And there's a plus sign there. I'm sorry, Griffey was running, not Norman. So Griffey takes third. And since there's a plus sign there, Concepcion will steal. He's a 15. We'll check the arm of Ferguson. So what kind of arm Ferguson has. Ferguson has an average arm, average arm, so no effect. So it's a straight out 1 to 15. Concepcion was 19 out of 26 in real season. So he's going to try to steal here. 1 to 15. And he's caught stealing to end the inning. Maybe not a smart move by Concepcion. When you had Dreesen coming up, Joe Morgan coming up with runners at the corners and 2 outs, tried to steal second and got caught for it. So they caught stealing. It's going to go 2 to 6, and that will end the inning. The Reds miss an opportunity to, at minimum, tie the game. And John McNamara not too happy about it. But that's them the breaks, as they say. We go to the bottom of the third, and it'll be the top of the order, Davey Lopes. 52, that's an error check, unless the KD is a 4, but his KD is only a 3, so we will go to the error check after all. And that's a 35. So we're checking the error again of Ray Knight. Second time, I think we're checking the Ray Knight error check. That's a 3. So Ray Knight's going to boot it. No question about it. You get a D20 that low, you're going to boot it. Ray Knight, error rating's only a 5, but that's a 3. So he does boot it. E5. Ray Knight boots it. First error of the game on either side. And let's see here with the 35. That's just going to be a 1 base error. So Lopes is aboard, and that brings up Bill Russell. 24, and that's going to be for Russell a hit by pitch on a 1. That's an 18, so no hit by the pitch. So we'll see what kind of out it is. It is a 20, and that says a line out to the white die. The white die was a 4, so it lines it out to second. Possible double play. We're going to roll on the D20, and if it's equal to 2 or 12, it'll be a double play. It is not, so it's no double play. It will just be a line out to Joe Morgan for the out. And that will be the first out of the inning for Mr. Russell. He lines it to Morgan, but getting back at first base is Lopes, not to get doubled off. Had to put in my power cord so the computer wouldn't cut off on me. All right, so out number 1, Russell is out of there. And it goes to Reggie Smith. I'm sorry, should have Lopes here at first base. Forgot to put him there. He is at first base. Smith, 64, and that's going to be an out. 14, runner at first, ground ball to second. Strong arm second baseman starts a double play. We already know that they listed Morgan for whatever reason as a weak arm, so it will not be a double play. It'll be a 4-6 fielder's choice. And Reggie Smith will be the new runner at first base. And that brings up Steve Garvey. All right, Brian B., I'll make sure Bourbon is the last out of the bullpen. 42 is going to be an out, and that's a 2. So that's a fly to center to end the inning. Garvey flies to center, and that will do it. We go to the top of the 4th. Still 1-0 Cincinnati. Leadoff home run from Davey Lopes to start the bottom of the 1st has been the only scoring of the game. Hello, Captain Carl. Good to see you. All right, here's Joe Morgan, Little Joe. 61, and that's going to be a strikeout for Sutton. That is his 3rd strikeout of the game. Here is Dan Dreesen. 31, and that's going to be turned into a range check. That's the homebrew that I picked up from Replay Gamer. 31 is it going to be a range check? So we're going to redo this with a range check. 24, we're checking the range of the right fielder. Range of the right fielder in this case is Reggie Smith. And we'll look at Reggie Smith's range as a right fielder. Right over here, Reggie Smith's range is a 15. So 1 to 15, he gets to it. That's a 6, he will get to it, and he makes the play. And that takes the hit away from Dreesen. That'll bring up Johnny Bench. 34 for Bench, and that's going to be an out. And 19 is a fly to right field to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Reds. Don Sutton definitely pitching like he's on his A game. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still a 1-0 lead. All right, here's Ron Say. Say. 33, and that's going to be a single for Ron Say. He'll waddle down to first base with the leadoff single, and here comes Dusty Baker. I think they called him the Lizard. Not sure where he got that nickname from, but 1 to 16 is going to be a single. We're rolling doubles again. Single on a 1 to 16, so we check the single with a runner on first, and a D20 is an 8. Well, we got to re-roll it because we used the 8 already on the single, so we're going to re-roll this. It's an 18. Let's see here. Center field assist chance at third if one out, otherwise hold at second. So he's going to hold at second because there's nobody out. So first and second to start the fourth inning for the Dodgers. They have something cooking here. Here's Joe Ferguson. That's a 21, and a 21 is a strikeout for Fred Norman. Just his second strikeout, but a big one there to get an out. Keep the runners where they are. And now here comes center fielder Darryl Thomas. 32, and that's going to be an out. That's a 12. So we'll go to first and second out chart with a white die or D20 of 12. And that is a pop-up to the white die, which is a 2. Pops it up to the catcher. So he's going to pop it up to Johnny Bench for out number 2. So first 2 are on, but the next 2 gets out without any runner advancement. And now comes the pitcher, Don Sutton. Norman should be able to get out of this. 34, though, is going to be a single. How about that? Don Sutton's going to get a base hit. That's a 9. So we go to the hit chart. First and second, a 9. Right field assist chance at home. So the runner on second is going to try to score. He has to go on the assist chance. There's no stopping it. So we'll look at the assist rating of the right fielder, Griffey. And his assist rating is a 5. Very good assist. He's got a weak arm, but a lot of people ran on him, so he must have piled up the assist numbers. So it's a 1 to 5, and he's thrown out at the plate. And he is. So Griffey throws out Say at the plate to end the inning. Going to go 9 to 2, and that will take care of things. So even with 2 outs, there's nothing on there that I saw. There was nothing on there about an assist thing being about 2 outs. It is what it is. So not sure why they don't give a little bit better scoring chance with 2 outs. Maybe that's something I got a homebrew. Maybe with 2 outs, if a guy's, maybe with 2 outs in the future, I'll lower the assist rating by 1 number or something. Because with 2 outs, obviously the runner's going to be going on the crack of the bat. So you would think that he would score there, but never know. All right, so here comes Ray Knight. He will lead off the top of the 5th. 16, and that's going to be an out and a 4. We'll go back to the bases empty chart. Should be ground out to second, and it certainly is. 1 away for Dave Collins. Not to be confused with his brother Tom. 52, we got an error check because the 14 is way above the KD. So we got an error check. And that's a 55. We're checking Ron Say, the Penguin, for an error, but that's a 20. So I don't think there's any possibility that Ron Say is going to make an error here. His error rating is only a 3. So, although there are some 20s at third base for the Dodgers, Ted Martinez and Mickey Hatcher are 20s. But in this case, Ron Say, pretty good fielder there, makes the play 5 to 3. 2 down for Cesar Geronimo. 51, so we're going to another error check because the KD is way above there. So we go to the 51 error check. 23, we're checking the error of Bill Russell. But that's a 19, so again, highly unlikely there's going to be an error. His error rating is only an 8. That's a 19, so Bill Russell makes the play. So 4-3 ground out, a 5-3 ground out, and a 6-3 ground out, all right in order for Don Sutton. And he takes care of the Reds in short order. So we go to the bottom of the 5th, still 1-0, and a home run from Davey Lopes that started the game when he rolled a 66. That stood up so far. Here's Lopes. Speaking of Lopes, he's leading off the inning. 22. and that's a walk. And he's got a double plus sign. That means he got a chance to steal 2 bases. He stole in 1979. He stole 44 bases, only got caught 4 times, and he's an 18. So he's going to have a chance to steal both bases. Now, I need to find out in the rules. Let me look back in the rules here. I would assume stealing third, you have to make some sort of adjustment for that. I'm guessing. I haven't tried a double, guy stealing twice. So let's see what it says here in the rule book. And if anybody knows off the top of their head, they can certainly, chime in and let me know. In the meantime, I'm just going to be looking on the rule book about this stealing third base. Is there a thing about stealing third base? Just says you can steal third if the jump is at least 5. Reduce jump rating by 4 and reroll Tony for jump. I'm not worried about jump. I'm not doing the jump here. Let's see here. Hello, Ernest. Good to see you. All right. Auto stealing. Here we go. It doesn't say anything about deducting. Oh, wait a minute. Reduce jump rating by 4 on attempted steals of third. All right. It says after. That's talking about jump rating. I'm not doing jump ratings. I don't see anything on here that deducts anything about stealing third base. So I'm just going to play it as it is. His steal rating's a 1 to 18. We're going to roll the D20. If he gets an 18, he steals second. We're going to roll it again. If he gets an 18 or less, he goes steal third. Until somebody tells me differently, that's how I'm going to play it. Now, I'm more than willing to be corrected on that if I miss something in the rule book, but I'm looking when doing auto steals. I don't see anything to adjust that. So now a 1 to 18, he steals third. And he steals third. So Davey Lopes steals second and third. Davey Lopes stealing second base and third base. The walk leads to that. And all of a sudden now the infield's going to come in for the Reds. With nobody out and a runner at third, they're trying to choke the runoff because they're not getting many runs off of Don Sutton. So hopefully I did that correctly. I mean, I don't see, I'd rather, if I'm not sure, I'd rather not assume there's an adjustment there. I'd rather leave it as is until somebody tells me for sure I should have made an adjustment. I didn't see anything to that effect, so we're going to go with it. Here's Russell, 22. It doesn't matter where the infield is. That's a single. We're getting these double. That's 3 doubles in a row that's been rolled very Appa-like. And to be honest with you, Fred Norman had no chance. It wasn't his fault. He had no chance at all. It's 2-0 favor of the Reds. I'm sorry, in favor of the Dodgers. These doubles, you just can't do anything with these doubles. 63 for Reggie Smith is going to be an out, and 11. So we're back to runner on first. And 11 is a ground ball to the white die, which is a 3. So it's grounded to first. Slow runner is out at second. Russell's a fast runner. Let's see here. A fast runner advances to second. Okay, so that's easy enough. Fast runner advances to second. So it's a ground out to Dreesen, but the only play he has is at first base. And going to second base will be Bill Russell. 1 out, runner at second. 1 run already in. Where do I find the jump rating is the question. Let's see. Where is his jump rating on his card? Where is the jump rating? Is that a 7? Is that what that number means right there, that little 7? Captain Carl, is that the jump rating right there, that 7? Since I never use it, I'm assuming that's the jump rating is 7. I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm asking. I'm assuming that's the jump rating. So he had a 7, which is obviously above the 5. So it looks like he was able to do that. Thank goodness. All right, here is Steve Garvey. 62, and that's an out. Runner on second now, and that's an 8, so that's still a fly to center. Let's see here. White die is not a 1, so the runner can't move up. It is 2 away, and that will take us to Ron Say, the Penguin. 2 outs, runner at second, 1 run in. Yep, okay, that was the jump runner. Thank you, or jump number. Thank you. He had a 7, so fortunately, I was within the correct rules to do that. So that's good. So if he had a 4 or less there, he would not have been able to steal the second one. So that's good. All right, here is Ron Say. 15 for Say. That's an out, and that's a 20 with the runner at second, which will be a line out to the white die. So he lines it to third. Ray Knight is there. It says to check for a double play, but that was the third out of the inning, so no worries there. But Davey Lopes almost single-handedly got him a run there, a walk and then 2 steals. Then the base hit from Bill Russell. And the Dodgers lead it 2-0 after 5 complete from Chavez Ravine. Reds have not been able to figure out Don Sutton very much to this point. They have just 2 singles off of him. And Fred Norman will lead off the inning. That's a 35, and that's going to be an out. 14 would go back to the bases empty. Probably a ground out to second, which it is. So Norman grounds out to Lopes, 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Ken Griffey. He is 0 for 2. 41, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Ken Griffey will draw the walk. So the tying run now is at the plate and Dave Concepcion. 25, that's an out, an 8, fly ball to center field. Faster average, if the white die is not a 1, so we can't even go there. That's out number 2. If the white die had been a 1, they would have had a chance to tag up. But here's Morgan. 51, we're back to the error check. Since the KD number is a 6, which is above the 4 from Sutton. So we're going to error chance. We get a 13. That is the pitcher, Don Sutton. We get an error chance on Don Sutton. Sutton's error rating, let's look around on his card since it's handy. His error rating is a 4. That's a 7, so he makes the play, and that will end the inning. Don Sutton, 6 shutout frames. And that home run from Lopes is still holding out. Not that Norman's pitching a bad game. He just had 1 mistake pitch and no offensive support to try to combat it. Here is Dusty Baker. 31, that's the base hit, but it is a range check. Home brewed. And that's going to be a 56. So we're checking Ray Knight for a range check. That's a 9. Can Ray Knight gets to it? His range is a 9. Ray Knight at third is only an 8. So that will get by him for a base hit. Base hit for Dusty Baker. Just sneaks it past Ray Knight. Leadoff single, and that will bring up Joe Ferguson. That's a 52. So once again, back to the error check because the KD is way too high for that. For the Reds, we're checking the error of the right fielder, Ken Griffey. That's a 9. Ken Griffey. Right field, his error rating is only a 4, so Ken Griffey will make the catch. 1 away. And that'll bring up Darryl Thomas. 12, and that's going to be an out with a 6, runner at first. That's going to be a ground out to short. Let's see here. There was no X there automatically, so it's not an automatic double play. But it says it's a double play unless the shortstop has a weak arm. I can't imagine Concepcion would have a weak arm. I wouldn't think so. Now he's got an average arm, so it is going to be a double play. It's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play, 6-4-3 to end the inning. You like that? 6-4-3 DP. Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play of the game. And now we go to the 7th inning, still 1-0. I did not look and see what the actual score was of this game. Not that it matters, just for curiosity's sake, but sure are getting some good pitching. And that never hurts. So here's Dan Dreesen. Leads off the top of the 7th. 55 for Dreesen. That's a 1-13 double. That's an 11. So leadoff double for Dan Dreesen. Maybe this is the inning the Reds get something going. Leadoff double for Dan Dreesen. Tell you what, those doubles is very Apple-like. Very, very Apple-like. Here's Johnny Bench. More doubles, 55. That's going to be a single, though, because the 1-16 doesn't fall in the double category. So a re-roll on the runner advancement. That's a 9. So runner at second and a base hit and a 9. Right field assist chance at home. Fast runner second. Well, he's not fast, but it's a right field assist chance at home. So even though you're down 2-0, they're going to gamble. They're going to have to. Dreesen's going to try for it. He has to by rule because it's an assist chance. So let's see. Right fielder. Right fielder is Reggie Smith. So Reggie Smith's assist chance is a 5. So there you go again. 1-5, and he is out at the plate, which he is. So he's out at the plate. Bench singles, but the runner Dreesen is thrown out at the plate 9-2. Bad base running there by the third base coach, but the rules say you had to go, you got to go. So that'll bring up Ray Knight. 41 for Ray Knight, and that's a walk. 41's pretty much universal walks. And now first and second with 1 out for Dave Collins. 35 for Collins. That's an out. That's a 17. Runners at first and second. Should just be a fly out to left, and it is, and the runners have to hold. So now we're down to Geronimo, number 8 hitter. Needs to drive the runs home. Geronimo. 25, and that's an out. That's a 2. So it's a fly to center to end the inning, and the Reds miss a golden opportunity for sure. And they still trail it 2-0 as we go to the 7th inning stretch here in Los Angeles. And we're going along at a pretty good pace, so I'm not going to worry about stretching or taking a break. We don't need no stinking breaks around here. All right, here's Don Sutton. He will lead off against Norman. 51, so we're back to the error check. Since the KD is not, it certainly doesn't match the 17 that just got rolled. So going to the 51 error check for the Reds. 25 is Concepcion's error rating. That's an 11, so Concepcion should not have an error rating that high. He should make the play. His error rating is only a 7, so he does make the play. And there's one away. Sutton is retired. Back to the top of the order for the man with the only run of the game, or the first run of the game, Davey Lopes. 54, so we're going to the 54 chart. 54 chart, and that's an 11. So ground ball to pitcher who knocks it down, picks it up, fires to first for the out, unless roll versus error rating for wild throw, batter to second, okay? So I'm going to roll for the error rating of Norman. His error rating is a 15. So we look at this, Norman's error rating is 15. So 1-15, he will throw this ball away. And he does, and that'll put the runner at second base. So Davey Lopes is going to end up at second base. That's a 2-base error by Fred Norman. And again, that was off the 54 chart and the 11. Ground ball by pitcher who knocks it down, fires to first for the out, unless is E rating, batter to second. So now we've got the runner at second with 1 out. And we are looking at Bill Russell. 34, and that's a single. Let's see if the run can score. 16. Yep, it's single to right, and the runner scores. It's 3-0 Dodgers. Unearned run there makes it 3-0 LA. And here's Reggie Smith. Norman's set to lead off the next inning, so they'd like to get him through the inning if possible. Reggie Smith now, an 11 for Reggie Smith. Let's see here. 11 is a walk on a 1-16. That is a 9, so he's going to walk. And actually, Norman's actually going to have to come out. He can only face 27 batters, and he's already up to batter number. That Smith was batter number 30. So he's going to have to come out of the game. He will come out of the game. We'll see if there's going to be a double switch or they just bring in somebody to get 2 outs. See what the Reds decide to do. Per Brian B., he did not want me to use Pedro Borbon. So there will be a double switch. They're going to bring in Mike Lacoste. So Mike Lacoste will come on to pitch. But he can go a lot of, he's a starter. He only had 3 relief appearances, but he can finish the game out basically. So they don't want to, go through a whole bunch of pitching. So they're going to go to a double switch and see who's going to come out for the Reds. It looks like George Foster is going to come in for Dave Collins. So in our scorebook or our score sheet, Mike Lacoste will bat 7th, the spot formerly held by Collins, which is 8 spots away. And George Foster will hit leadoff next inning and be the new left fielder. So we have the pitcher spot in the 7th position. Foster in left field bats 9th. And so now the new pitcher is Mike Lacoste. Can't close the book on Norman because he's got runners on base. Let's get the bullpen session for Lacoste. It's a 6, so he's on his A grades as well. First and second with 1 out. And Steve Garvey, the batter. 35 for Lacoste. That is an out. 12. First and second with a 12 on the out chart. Pop up to the white die. It's a 5, so he pops it up to Ray Knight at third. That is out number 2. And that'll bring up the Penguin, Ron Say. 14, and that's an out. 12. It's going to be another pop out to the white die, which is to second. Pops it up to Morgan to end the inning. But now it's 3-0 Dodgers as we go to the top of the 8th. Close the book now on Norman. Look at Norman. He will go 6 1/3 innings. He is going to give up 3 runs, 2 of which were earned. I don't think he struck out very many. He struck out 2. And he walked 3. And how many hits to get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got him for 7 hits. All Dodger hits have been singles, 7 of them. There have been a couple of errors and a couple of walks that have been thrown in there. And I'm taking it back. 6 of the hits were singles. The first one was a home run. So let me it might have been 8 hits. Let me redo this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 hits. He allowed 8 hits. For some reason, I didn't count Lopes' home run against him. So 6 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 3 runs, 2 earned. And of course, he's on the hook to be the losing pitcher, perhaps, unless Cincinnati can come back here against Mr. Sutton, who seems to be in control of things. Sutton has faced 26 batters. George Foster will be 27. He can face 31 before he tires. So here's Foster, 53, and we're checking a range check. Going to the range check. And that's a 24. So we're checking the right fielder, Reggie Smith, for his range. Reggie Smith, that's only a 5. He ought to be able to cover that, you would think. His range is a 15, so he certainly covers that. And there's one away. Foster out of there. Back to the top of the order, and Ken Griffey. 34, and that's going to be an out for Sutton, and a 6, most likely a ground out to short, but we'll verify it. And that's exactly what it is, ground out to short. 2 down, and that's going to send us to Dave Concepcion. 26, that's the left-right split. He's a righty against a righty, so that 9 is a fly ball to right to end the inning. First left-right split check of the game, and it favors the pitcher. So Sutton going for the complete game. Can face 31 batters. He has faced a total of 29 so far, so he's in good shape to try to get that complete game, you would think. So we will go to the bottom of the 8th for Dusty Baker, Joe Ferguson, and Daryl Thomas against Mike Lacoste. 12 is an out. That's a 1, and that's going to be a ground out right back to the pitcher. Right back where it came from, to Lacoste for out number 1. Joe Ferguson. That's a 14. He's out, and that's a 12. That will be a pop out to second, since the white die is a 4. Pops it up to second, 2 down for Daryl Thomas. Sutton is on deck, and he will hit for himself if Thomas reaches. 44, looks like Thomas will reach. It's a single, but it's a plus, so he's got to steal. So he might get caught stealing. We'll see. Thomas does have to steal with that plus there. So Thomas has a stolen base chance of 16. Very good. Very good there. And he was 18 out of 23 in real world. So 1 to 16, he steals second base. And he's caught stealing. Wow. There you go. Caught stealing. Johnny Bench says, "You're not going anywhere, son." Morgan puts on the tag, and we go to the 9th. 3-0 Dodgers. 3-0 Dodgers. 2 up for the Reds here in the 9th. It's going to be Morgan, Dreesen, and Bench, followed by Ray Knight. I don't know if the Reds have anybody any decent on the bench that you would want to sub for. Probably not. Let's look and see who they have. They have Champ Summers, Junior Kennedy, Vic Carell, Rick Auerbach, Paul Blair, and some guy named Arturo De Freitas. So I'm thinking they're going to stick with who they have. Sutton can face 2 more batters before he gets to the 31st batter. So it's a good chance that he could get this complete game victory. A shutout, maybe, never know. Here is Joe Morgan. 34, and that is an out. 7 to fly to left. 1 away. One down. For Danny Dreesen. 11 for Dreesen. That's going to be a 13 is going to be a strikeout. He would have walked on a 1 to 3. He would have walked. But a 4 to 17 is a strikeout. So strikeout for Mr. Sutton. He hasn't had that many of them. That's only his 4th strikeout of the game. And I have him for 2 walks. 3 walks, actually. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts to this point. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. So it's last chance, Johnny Bench. 54. We're going to the 54 chart. This could end it on the 54 chart. Could be an interesting way to end it. That's a 12. And it says ground ball to pitcher who knocks it down. So again, the same thing we just had. We're checking the error rating of the pitcher Lacoste. His error rating is a 10. So if we roll a 1 to 10, he'll make an error. I'm sorry, Sutton, not Lacoste. Sutton's only a 4. Sutton's only a 4 error. So a 1 to 4, the game continues. 5 or higher, the game is over. And that's a 10. It's all over. Sutton makes the play, and that'll do it. Don Sutton, complete game shutout of the Reds. I think there's no question who your player of the game is, and that would be Mr. Don Sutton. 3-0 ball game. We'll get the totals. And I'll start out with Lacoste. He goes an inning and 2/3. Gives up a hit, nothing else. No walks, no strikeouts. So the Dodgers have 3 runs on 9 hits. And I don't think there were any Dodger errors. There were not. The Reds had Norman actually, Reds had 2 errors, one on Knight and one on Norman. So Sutton, how many hits did he give up? Sutton gave up 1, 2, 3, 4. He pitched a 4-hit shutout for Sutton. And let's see, walks 3. Just can't write my 3s here. Walks 3 and strikes out 4. All right, so let's go to the line score, and we're going to have 3 runs, 9 hits and no errors for the Dodgers, no runs, 4 hits and 2 errors for the Reds. And on the score sheet, my messy score sheet, that's what that looks like. As we look ahead to the next game on the schedule in the 1979 NBC game of the week, we look ahead to June 2nd. And on June 2nd, we'll be at Minnesota Metropolitan Stadium. It's the Boston Red Sox taking on the Minnesota Twins from Minneapolis Metropolitan Stadium. That's where we will be next week. Week after that, we'll be in Kansas City for the Yankees and the Royals. And the following week, we'll be in Detroit for California and the Tigers. So 3 straight games of DHs, which I'm not too thrilled about, but that was the schedule that NBC chose. So that's what we have. And programming note, if you are even remotely interested in History Maker Golf, we'll have the final round of the Waste Management Open tonight. That'll be a final round live stream sometime between 7:30 and 8. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to jump on there, but sometime in that neighborhood. We're going to pick it up with the first group on the 13th tee and the leaders on the 10th tee. Played the back 9 already, got that all out of the way and lined up. Got the new leaderboard with where everybody's at, and had a couple golfers already out of contention, so we'll see what happens the rest of the way there. But that'll be the Waste Management Open tonight, roughly between 7:45, 8 o'clock, somewhere in that neighborhood, I'm thinking, depending on what's going on around here. I was a little bit late starting today because Tabby wanted some extra attention. She's being quiet right now, but boy, she was asking for my undivided attention not that long ago. So thankfully, she was quiet today. And in case you missed it earlier, it came in late or whatever, and you do follow the 1987 American League replay, I did find the George Brett card. He was hiding, but I found him, so we have him going forward. We're not missing a card. Don't need to send the lost persons out looking for him. We got him. So let's go do it from here. Memorial Day weekend, so 3-day weekend for everybody. Hope you thank you there, Captain Carl. We definitely, I'm sure everybody's waiting for RJL to reboot his Inside Pitch Advanced season coming up. I'm sure he will be excited about doing that one. And but in the meantime, he's done some History Maker Golf. I think he might do some Arkham something or other. One of those games. I don't know if it's Arkham, something other Arkham. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. But who knows? RJL also has Fall Classic, so maybe he can go to his storage unit and get out Fall Classic and play it again. Bring that 1986 Mets back out here and get some Fall Classic games in RJL. That might be a thing. I don't know. So anyway, and then tomorrow, if it's going to be Sunday Basic Sunday in Strat-O-Matic Basic. That game's been recorded already. I'll upload it tomorrow afternoon. And it's going to be the 1960. Always do 1962. That's kind of the season I picked for it. It's the Phillies and the Pirates from Ford Field. And that is Sunday Basic Sunday. Normally, Monday morning, 9 o'clock, we'll be having the 1987 American League Game of the Day. But with it being Memorial Day, I might alter that. It might come out a little bit later. Not sure. Sometime between 9 and 11, but it might not be till 10. I mean, normally I do it at 9 to 9:15, but this Monday, with it being a holiday, I might bump it back just a little bit. Not sure. To play it by ear, see what happens. But that's going to do it from here. Dodgers 3-0. Player of the game without question. Without question, the player of the game is this guy right here, Mr. Don Sutton. He is your player of the game. In 1979, he was 12-15, so it wasn't that great of a pitcher, but he was on his A grades today, and that helped him out a couple of different times, I know for sure. The A grades really helped him out. So he is the player of the game. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And I will see you guys down the road. Tabby Cat, you were having a good old time there, Rubadoo. What's up with that? Rubadoo-badoo. What is it you got going on here, Tabby Cat? Looks like you got something going on. As far as I can tell, Tabby. Looks like you might have something going on, Rubadoo. All right, let's put all this stuff away.